4 men have been convicted of planning a Lee Rigby-style terrorist attack that aimed to murder members of the police or military using a pipe bomb and meat cleaver. MI5 set up a fake delivery company employing 2 of the men as they investigated the plot. 3 of the men, who are all from the Midlands, called themselves the 3 Musketeers as they exchanged encrypted messages on the app Telegram as part of their conspiracy. Counterterrorism officials believe it is one of the most significant plots they have thwarted in the past year. A jury of 3 men and 8 women convicted Naweed Ali, 29, and Kobabe Hussain, 25, both from Birmingham, and Mohibur Rahman, 33, and Tahir Aziz, 38, from Stoke-on-Trent, of planning terrorist acts between May and August 2016. Ali, Hussain and Rahman have previous terrorism convictions, prompting calls after the verdict for a further crackdown on the spreading of jihadist ideology in prisons among those convicted of terrorism offenses. The defense had asked for the trial to be postponed after the 22nd of March terrorist attack on Westminster, arguing it could prejudice the jury. During the course of the trial, the Manchester Arena was bombed and the London Bridge terrorist attack took place. The men were arrested on the 26th of August 2016 after a bag of weapons, including a pipe bomb, an air pistol and a meat cleaver with the word "Kafir Unbeliever" scratched on it, were found under the driver's seat of Ali's car. In Aziz's car they found a samurai sword bought from a sex shop in Stoke for £20. A cleaver that was found in Naweed Ali's car, with the word "Kafir" scratched on the blade. Photograph West Midlands Police. The court heard the bag was discovered in the course of a sting operation, in which West Midlands Police and MI5 set up a fake courier company in Birmingham and hired Ali and Hussain. The bag was found as MI5 attempted to bug Ali's car on his first day in the job. The prosecution said the 4 defendants were likely to have been planning an imminent Lee Rigby-style attack on a police or military target, but the details were unclear as they had taken extreme care to avoid surveillance. The defense claimed the weapons had been planted by rogue undercover officers to frame the suspects and accused them of falsifying their notes and lying in the witness box. No fingerprints were found on the bag, but a partial DNA sample found on a roll of duct tape inside was established during the trial to belong to Hussain. The pipe bomb, which was not fully operational, was found to be made from a type of pipe Hussain had worked with when he trained as a gas fitter. The jury sat through days of messages and online searches that indicated what the prosecution described as the defendants' hateful beliefs, but the judge, Mr. Justice Globe, told them they could not convict based on mindset evidence alone. Gareth Patterson QC, for the prosecution, told the jury it is the prosecution case that the 4 defendants shared the same radical belief in violent jihad and had reached a stage where they were planning to take action. The trial faced multiple delays and at one point was halted so the police officers' mobile phones could be seized and their private messages read out to the court in a complex case. The trial ran for twice the 10 weeks it had been expected to. The jury went down to 11 members in the final week of the trial, after a juror was discharged. When it emerged, she had jokingly asked court staff 3 times whether a police witness was single. This came to light only after a Guardian reporter overheard police discussing it. The defense questioned why police had not raised it with the prosecutor. As he was taken down to the cells, Rahman shouted, "I hope you're happy with your lies. Lying scumbags." DCS Matt Ward, the head of West Midlands Counter-Terrorism Unit, said more should be done in prisons to counter violent extremism. This is the second time 3 of these individuals have been convicted of terrorism offenses after planning an attack. Although much work is being done in prisons and following the release of individuals, it is clear that more needs to be done, he said. He said the claims of wrongdoing against police officers were groundless. Rahman and Aziz are understood to have visited the extremist Anjem Choudhury in May 2016, while he was on bail charged with urging support for Islamic State, for which he was later convicted. The 11 jurors deliberated for more than 22 hours to reach their verdicts, which were all unanimous. Sentencing is scheduled for 10 a.m. on Thursday. The maximum sentence is life in prison. The plot having become suspicious about the men, the Domestic Intelligence Service MI5 and police from the West Midlands Counter-Terrorism Unit launched a sting operation. Ali, Hussain and Rahman were watched for months before their arrests. From May 2016 onwards, officers observed them meeting in Birmingham, Stoke and London. They were seen walking in a park and boating on a lake in what were believed to be attempts to evade monitoring. An imitation handgun with an empty magazine strapped to it that was found stashed in Naweed Ali's car. Photograph West Midlands Police. They took care to avoid surveillance, the jury heard. Rahman bought mobile phones from eBay and had them delivered to Ali and Hussain, which the prosecution said were for covert discussions. He kept notes on his phone about avoiding surveillance and texted Aziz that he had 2 phones, one hot and one clean. Patterson told the jury these were men who were taking care to try to avoid detection of what they were doing and who wanted to pursue their plans secretly. The men's electronic devices were bursting with extremist material, Patterson said, and the jury read thousands of messages between the defendants and their associates that he said proved they shared an extremist belief in the duty to bring the fight to the cuff for unbelievers. Rahman, Hussein and Ali eventually set up a private Telegram group called the Three Musketeers, which the prosecution said was intended to serve for attack planning. The defendants Ali and Hussein were next-door neighbors living with their families in red brick terraced houses in Sparkhill, Birmingham. When the investigation started, Hussein, who had completed a year of a law degree, was doing a gas-fitting course at college. Ali, who the court heard had a stutter and had performed badly in school, was working at a cash and carry. They were known to the authorities. In 2011 they traveled to a militant training camp in Pakistan's tribal regions. But, dismayed by the Spartan conditions, they soon contacted their families, who were furious and arranged for their return. Their trip became known to police during the Operation Pittsford investigation, which resulted in 11 men from Birmingham being jailed for planning attacks that, detectives said, would have been the biggest in a generation. Ali and Hussein pleaded guilty to preparing for acts of terrorism, and were sentenced to 40 months each in 2013. In prison they met their co-defendant Rahman, one of 9 men prosecuted in connection with a plan to attack the London Stock Exchange, who was serving 5 years for owning copies of an Al-Qaeda magazine. On the witness stand, Hussein said Rahman was domineering, paranoid, weird and had a lot of contact with MI5. The final defendant was Aziz, a takeaway delivery driver and contact of Rahman's from Stoke. The father of 2 had recently split up with his wife. Though he only started taking an interest in Islam after his breakup, the prosecution said he was a hardliner who took an obsessive interest in extremist material. He was brought in as a 4th man to help carry out the plot. The operation in summer 2016, West Midlands Counter-Terrorism Command launched Operation Passage to gather intelligence on Hussein. They set up a fake company, Hero Couriers, complete with a city centre depot, logo, vehicles and branded T-shirts for the drivers to wear. An undercover officer, Vincent, posed as the boss, while 2 other agents, Andy and Haji, acted as employees. The company hired Hussein as a driver in late July 2016, offering him £100 a day cash in hand to deliver packages to airports and storage lockups. Vincent said Hussein could park his car in the depot, leaving the keys with him. Vincent soon mentioned that he was looking for more drivers, and Hussein put him in touch with Ali. On Ali's first day, the 26th of August, he arrived shortly after 7 a.m. and handed his car keys to Vincent so he could park it in the depot. Soon afterwards, Andy arrived with a group of MI5 agents, who carried out what the prosecution euphemistically described as a technical operation, bugging Ali's car. Under the driver's seat, they found a multicolored JD sports bag, which contained items of concern: what appeared to be a pipe bomb, a pistol with a magazine taped to the handle, and the meat cleaver with Kaffir scratched on it. There was also a live round of 9mm ammunition, shotgun shells, rubber gloves, and duct tape. MI5 bosses ordered the men to leave the depot urgently because of the pipe bomb. The discovery prompted a security alert. All businesses on Florence Street were evacuated, and nearby Bath Row, a major Birmingham artery, was closed off as the Army's bomb disposal squad was summoned. All 4 defendants were arrested that day, and in Aziz's car police found a machete tucked beside the driver's seat. All the defendants refused to answer questions, although Ali submitted a statement saying he was baffled by the items in the car, which he said were nothing to do with me. The trial revolved around the defense's claim that Vincent planted the bag. Parts of the case took place in closed court, with the press and public shut out so jurors could hear sensitive evidence. Even in open court, undercover officers, including Vincent, gave evidence from behind a green velvet curtain using their undercover names. During a combative 12 days under cross-examination, Vincent was accused by defense barristers of being an underhand criminal operative who had planted the bag. Vincent described the claim as an interesting work of fiction. Ali refused to take the stand, but the others did. Hussein claimed his online messages aimed to stimulate debate, while Aziz claimed the machete found in his car was an ornamental sword he had bought for protection when delivering food to rough neighborhoods. The jury had to decide whose story they found more credible, that of Vincent and his police colleagues, or of the self-described Three Musketeers. They chose the police.